You got to be authentic. And if you're authentic, you'll attract people that you want to attract. I'm going to give you a more personal example of what I think authenticity can do. I don't know if you know, some of you that have been in my seminars before know that I have my youngest daughter, Annalie, has Down syndrome. And there we are at a Stanford football game. You can see that I got the best tickets in the stadium, right? I don't know if we could sit any higher. But she had a good time. And then this is not child abuse, by the way. Then I took her to see the Moody Blues. They had their 50th anniversary concert at the Mountain Winery in Saratoga. Anyway, last summer, after 3 years of trying, Annalie got selected to the varsity cheer squad at Mountain View High School. So she became a varsity cheerleader after 3 years of trying. And it was great because she was so excited. I mean, all summer long, all she talked about was the first football game. And she went to the practices with the other girls, and even though she didn't get all the routines right, she tried really, really hard. The uniform they gave her didn't fit. I mean, you can tell she looks more like a linebacker than she does a cheerleader, right? So we had to take this thing, get it altered and all this, but it was the whole summer long was just conversation after conversation after conversation about her being on the varsity cheer squad and cheering for her Spartans. So it turns out that the first game happens to be right after Labor Day in Monterey, California. So I live near Stanford in Palo Alto, and Monterey's about, for those of you who know Northern California, it's about 2 hours away. It's a beautiful drive through the Santa Cruz Mountains and things like that, but not on Labor Day weekend, right? 3.5 hours in a car, bumper-to-bumper traffic, just climbing over Highway 1 to get to Monterey High School. I mean, we were almost late, and everybody was panicked, including me, but we made it. When we got there, we found out that she was the only cheerleader from Mountain View High School to show up. Apparently there was a memo that went out that says we don't travel over an hour or something like that. So she comes to the game, and she's the only cheerleader there. Now, the cheerleaders you see in the foreground, or the background there, are actually Monterey cheerleaders. Okay? So I dropped them off at the gate because we were so late. I found a parking spot. I come into the stadium. And by the way, the stadium is one that there's no visitor side. So everybody sits on the same side. So the Mountain View people were sitting on the same side as the Monterey people. So I get there, and she's in tears. Nobody's there. You know, this was her big game. She was just so upset. So I said to her, look, you have a choice. I said, you can either sit up in the stands with me and Mom and watch the game and cheer from here, or you can go down on the sidelines and cheer. She went down on the sidelines and cheered. So there's a picture of her by herself cheering for her team. Isn't that amazing? What happened next blew me away. What happened next totally blew me away. In all my years, I never saw this. But she's down there cheering by herself, this lone little voice, doing the cheers with her little yellow pom-poms. And pretty soon a girl from Monterey, not a cheerleader, just a student, comes down to cheer with her on the sidelines. I mean, you can tell she's not dressed to cheer. And pretty soon, a couple more come down. By the end of the first quarter, the whole sideline was lined with Monterey cheerleaders cheering with my daughter, who was on the other team. And to prove it to you, I took a little video. I won't make you watch the whole video, but yeah, thank you. So I posted that video on Facebook, and I can't tell you the gazillion likes I got on this thing. People I didn't even know were liking this thing and writing comments like courageous and cool and fantastic and things like that. And originally I thought, oh, these are a bunch of people just feeling bad for a little Down syndrome girl by herself, right? Then I started realizing she's doing her why, right? Her why was to get to that game and cheer for that team. And, of course, there's the benefit right there, right? She's the only person who gets a chance to take a picture with the entire team. But nevertheless, that picture's on her wall, and she's very, very happy. But she was authentic. She was being her why. And when you do your why, even if you're a 19-year-old girl, or 18 at that time, you can attract people who believe what you believe. Those kids believed what she believed, and they came down to cheer with her. This whole idea of the aesthetic brain is you got to shift. It's okay to keep coming to these seminars and learning as much as you can about your clinical skills. Please keep doing that. But I will tell you as a coach and as a friend that where this game is won is when you start thinking about the right side of the brain. And not just thinking about it, but actually incorporating that into your practice, because this is where the stuff is won. This is where the game is won.